Thank you for plugging into this Family Life News podcast, streaming issues-driven, family-focused news.
This is Faith Under Fire, Family Life's Thursday feature exploring public issues where Christ, Christians, and culture intersect, clash, and hopefully seek truth. I'm Greg Gillespie, and today we explore another First Amendment lawsuit with religious freedom implications. Lathan Watts is with the Alliance Defending Freedom, the firm which brought suit in this case. Thank you for joining us on Family Life today. We want to find out information about the New Mexico case that triggered ADF's lawsuit related to physician-assisted suicide. Would you tell us details about that case?
Certainly. Thank you for having me. New Mexico passed a law that not only legalized physician-assisted suicide, but it compelled it, basically. So doctors in New Mexico who refuse to provide information to patients regarding suicide or referrals regarding physician-assisted suicide can face civil, criminal penalties, and even the loss of their medical license for refusing to do so. And there are no conscience protections in the law. So ADF, on behalf of the Christian Medical and Dentist Association, which has members that live and practice in New Mexico who would be subject to this law, filed suit in federal court to challenge the law. It violates the First Amendment right of freedom of religion, freedom of conscience, compelling people who went into a profession to preserve life, to make life better, compelling them to be a part of the process of ending life. Even for doctors who may not be particularly religious, many doctors have ethical and professional concerns about participating in this, and they shouldn't have to. This is really, the first step. We shouldn't have physician-assisted suicide, but in places that it exists, people should not be forced to participate in it, particularly when that opposition is rooted in their deepest held religious beliefs. It's a violation, as I said, of the Free Exercise Clause. So there are years spent in school and in training to become doctors, and rightfully so. The bar is really high to become a physician, but one of the requirements should not be abandoning your deepest held convictions in order to join that profession. There are multiple First Amendment problems with this law, and that's why we're challenging it in court.
What is it about this case that sounds like another instance where a law is trying to outrule a constitution?
Unfortunately, it's not uncommon, but it keeps us very busy challenging states that are seeking to impose their will on individuals in a way that violates the Bill of Rights. And that's what Alliance Defending Freedom has been about for decades now, protecting the rights of religious liberty and free speech, parental rights, and the sanctity of life for all people, both in this country and abroad.
Do you have any sense of what it is that New Mexico would put in a law that contradicts the doctor's ethics and the doctor's oath? What is happening with that kind of legislation, making it to a place where a legislature and a governor would approve it?
Yeah, I don't really. If I could read minds, I would probably be a wealthy man. So I don't want to try to speculate onto the motivation of the people that passed the law. But I think, just culturally speaking, at the heart of this is just a lack of respect and celebration of life itself. A culture that does not view life as the gift from God that it is will eventually turn to this sort of utilitarian model of evaluating the value of life. And that's not something that is part of the history and tradition of this country, of Western ideals, and it's something that we need to push back against and create a culture that honors and celebrates life for the gift that it is.
And again, on this case, Lacey versus Balderas, that's coming out of New Mexico, you wrote an opinion piece in Epoch Times. Don't know that you created the headline for this, but it says, "No government should issue doctors a license to kill, let alone threaten to end the careers of those doctors who refuse to participate in that." Could you speak about the double standard that's happening there?
The state is basically forcing doctors to participate in assisting someone with ending their life. And those who refuse to do so risk losing their license to practice medicine.
Our guest has been Lathan Watts. He is the Vice President of Public Affairs for the Alliance Defending Freedom. which has filed a lawsuit on behalf of a Christian medical association that's suing the state of New Mexico. This is Faith Under Fire. Catch this weekly feature on the radio Thursdays during the noon report on Family Life. We also provide these conversations as podcasts, available whenever you like. Go to the radio podcast page on familylife.org. From there, you can listen, you can download, you can recommend our podcast to family and friends. You also, on our podcast page, can tap on subscribe so you'll be notified whenever your favorite podcast goes on the website. You can look forward to our next Faith Under Fire next Thursday during the noon report. I'm Greg Gillespie, Family Life News.